What's up, gamers? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Natalie, and today we have a very special video for the channel. This is the first preview show. We're going to be previewing SBD Raleigh. Next Saturday, we have some of the best athletes in the country competing for some cash money out here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, technically it's Durham, North Carolina, but it's called SBD Raleigh because no one knows where Durham is. So for sake of simplicity, it's in Raleigh, North Carolina. So shout out to Megan Powell for being the meet director and organizing one of the most competitive meets in the country, not only for Powerlifting America, the federation, but just in general to have former world champions, bench press champions, national champions, all competing head to head in this kind of new style of meet, looking at like national records and everything. It's super exciting. Obviously, shout out to SBD for creating this meet and funding it and continuously like elevating the sports for all of us athletes. It's a great opportunity for everyone to compete, make some money next weekend, have some fun. So thank you SBD for having this event. Also, real quick, super excited to announce I will be commentating next weekend with Leo on the live stream. So if you want to tune in on the live stream, you're not going to be there in person, I'll link it down in the description box below so you can tune in and catch all the action. And if you're there next week in person, say hey. But super excited to kind of be back in my hometown of Raleigh to see everyone. So without further ado, let's just get into the roster and what this competition is going to look like. So there's basically two sessions. One is going to be in the morning, the open session. One's going to be in the evening, the prime time session. The prime time session, it was selected by SBD. So it is the top 10 performing athletes who competed at Powerlifting America Nationals earlier this year, ranked according to the percentage of the open national record for the division, reflecting, the Powerlifting America records that were set as of March 13th. And then that's 10 lifters that are selected via that process. 4 lifters were wild cards. So you're going to have 12 women and 12 men competing in this like prime time session, so 2 flights. That being said, the open session was normal registration, so if you wanted to sign up for this meet, sign up for it in the open session. We have a lot of like awesome local like Carolina lifters doing it. I think there's like a cap of like 23 or 24, so we have like 2 flights in the morning and then 2 flights in the evening as well. So the open session ranking is based on GL points, so it is separate from the prime time. The prime time peeps are solely pushing for that highest total in their respective weight classes to try to either break the national record or get the largest percentage of it.
As an example, if lifter A totals 550 kilos in the 63 kilo class with a national record of 548, they'll receive a score of 104%. If lifter B totals 640 in the 84 kilo class with a national record of 636.5, they'll receive a score of 100.5%, and they will be ranked higher than lifter A.
So again, like weight classes do matter because you're going for the national record in the prime time session, whereas in the open session, if you just want to try to boost your GL points, not cut, just get the highest, total possible at a respected body weight, and that's probably what the strategy is going to look like for open versus prime time. So with all the analytics out of the way, let's get into actually who's competing. I'm going to start off with the open session since we'll be going first, and then we're going to get into the prime time session after. So the open session, I'm going to make my 3 picks for men and women, and then same for the primetime top 3 who I think is going to place. So on the women's side, we have 8 lifters in the open session in the morning. So the top 5 based on the best GL points, we have Serene in the 52 kilo class, Brandis Dye in the 76s, Michelle Robbins in the 76s, as well as Teresa Spencer, 84 plus, and Sarah Ulrich in the 76s. So everyone, like I said, has a declared class. This is a GL points meet, so the weight classes really don't matter, hypothetically. So I'm not 100% planning when looking at my research that people are actually going to stay in their respective weight classes. They may try to boost their total by getting a higher GL points instead by competing a little bit heavier but getting the benefit of being able to lift more weight without having to cut. So with that being said, I'm super excited to see Serene back on the platform. If you don't know her, she's an incredible 52 lifter. We both competed at Carolina Primetime 2021 and 2022 together, and that was her last time competing was Carolina Primetime 2022. So far her training's been looking pretty damn good, hitting mid 300s on squats, upper 300s on deadlifts, and right now she's forecasted probably most likely first based on her last meet. And then obviously we have Brandis, who also competed at all 3 Carolina Primetimes And I feel like SBD Raleigh is now like the continuation of Carolina Primetime in a sense. We have like all these lifters who competed at that, like, you know, that Primetime event competing at SBD Raleigh, which is super cool. Brandis is looking to make her Team America debut, so I'm super excited to see that. She's been working on elbow depth. If you aren't familiar, IPF/Powerlifting America has a rule where your elbows must hit a certain length, aka be pretty much like parallel to your shoulder. So Brandis held the, you know, American record in said other federation, and you know, that's probably the biggest shift she's had to make in training for Powerlifting America would be that elbow depth adjustment. So with that being said, I'm pretty confident that they're both going to have a really good day. So my top 3 predictions on the open women's side is just going to be Serene, Brandis, and then Michelle Robbins based on GL points. So Serene, I have maybe 110 GL points, Brandis around 108 to 109, and then Michelle Robbins probably like 103, 104. And then the 4th place goes to around 87 to 88 GL points. So I think the top 3 is probably going to stay where they are. I don't think there's going to be any like major shakeups in the open women's section. All right, now on the men's side, we're going to have 15 competitors. So top 5 laid out are kind of going to be Andre Easter, Cody Yeager, Wesley, James, Burnaby. So again, I'm excited to commentate this meet because it's so fun, like seeing all your friends on the list and be like, ha, like I'm really excited to see you lift and know how your training's going. It's just really nice to see all the familiar names. So obviously, Andre is probably the biggest front runner to win this session with 110 GL points. But a caveat with that is that he is coming out of an adductor strain. Unfortunately, an injury happened about, I think it's 3 weeks out from meet day while he was squatting, like something just happened with his adductor. So that is tough, like working into a meet and having an injury like that. So the question is, will Andre push for the top placing or play a little bit more conservative, because he is still going to compete and try to just be conservative but healthy for nationals next year. Depending on how, you know, tough the competitors are going to push Andre, he could hypothetically chill, I think, on squats maybe a little bit and still be placing, you know, 1st or 2nd. But I know that Wesley and Cody are probably going to be right on his heels. And then James and Burnaby, I'm betting, are going to fight for 4th and 5th. So Cody has about 104 GL points and training seems to be going well. But I've been talking to Wesley, who's been sending me his training. And he also trained at Pride a couple weeks ago. So like I see how his training's going. It's going very well. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't want to give away too much if Wesley hits like a 50 kilo like PR. So the top 3 picks in my opinion for the open are going to be Andre, Wesley, and then Cody. So I think for 4th and 5th, like I already mentioned, it's going to be James and Burnaby because the top 3 kind of like solidified themselves of pulling away. That's going to be, I know, super quick run through of the open session based off of the GL points. Again, weight classes don't really matter. So we'll see what people weigh in at, and that kind of gives us an indication on meet day of how the meet is going to trend. Okay, so we have an absolutely stacked roster of women. We have former world champions, national champions, bench specialists. We got it all. So I'm going to run through every single woman on this list. We have Celine Crum, Heather Connor, Monica Brown, Chelsea Sabat, Jackie Maylater, Chloe Nutt, Jamie Fisher, Jessica Kinney, Dana McNeil, Kristen Dunsmore, Brittany Sablicki, Lori McCormick. So that's top 12 right there. So that's a lot. If I'm taking their best totals and comparing them to their respective weight classes, like there's very small decibels, like 0.04 are separating some of these women. We have Heather Connor most likely being the lead, in my opinion. She's hit 410 in the 47 kilo class with the national record of being 422. So that seems like the most logical record to be broken nationally, which is currently held by Jessica Espinal. So I think that if Heather's going to come out, be healthy, make a statement, then that's probably going to be a national record she just ends up breaking, not even like chipping or anything like that. So she's working with Kedrick. I know that their training's been going really well. So I'm anticipating that Heather has the most advantageous lead coming into the meet. The downside is that she's going to have to probably pull somewhere in the middle and then see like Bonica and, you know, Dana McNeil and those guys kind of pull after her. So she has to get a pretty good lead and make the lifts. But I think she could probably be the front runner for this meet. We have Jackie in the 69s right behind her, then Bonica most likely. Chloe Nutt is also returning to the platform in the open, like not equipped section, which I'm really excited about. Her trains looked really strong. We have Chelsea Sabat, but based on her stories, most likely is going to cut into this meet. So I have her total being compared to the lifters in the 76 kilo class, not the 69 class. So it's going to affect, you know, the percentage of the national record, but I'm so excited to see if she goes for anything big on bench. Based on how consistent bench has been training, she's getting like 128 kilos for 3. which is absolutely nuts. So I'm excited to see what she throws up. So speaking of bench queens, we can't talk about benching without talking about Jamie Fisher, who just competed at Bench Worlds and got second, I believe. So I feel like the elbow depth rule has just been the biggest op there, especially for lighter weight women. So if elbow depth wasn't an issue, I'd have her probably a little bit higher on the rankings, but either way, I'm excited to see her put together another total after placing second to Megan Herbert at Nationals. Then we have Celine Crum, who had a really great Nationals performance, getting second to Megan Scanlon in the 63s. I believe she said on her Instagram stories she's moving up to the 69s. So with all that being said, top three, if I had to pick, yell at me in the comments for if I'm wrong. I have Heather Connor. I think the 47 national record hasn't been moved as much as maybe some of these other records. So I think Heather has the biggest chance to kind of total more than a national record or get pretty darn close to it. And then I have Bonica going after the total record set by Alexis Jones. And then third place, I have Chloe. So I think Chloe's sneaky and is going to climb up the ranks really quick, just based on hitting like 548 at Raw Nats and then chipping like the squat record back then. So she has the momentum. The only downside is that she just did equipped nationals in May and totaled over 600 equipped. So if she's not super beat up and not feeling gassed out, make 76, then it's going to be a super interesting meet. Okay, moving on to the men's side. So again, absolutely stacked. You can make a pretty competitive men's worlds team just from this group of guys. So we have Morgan Aquino Garcia, Joe Bornstein, Dan Clements, Delaney Wallace, Wardley Edward, Devin Williams, Angelo Fortino, Jamar Royster, Chris Perez, Reagan Henderson, Dennis Cornelius, and then Dom Fuqua. Great group of guys. I really don't know where to begin on this one. I guess I'll start at the top and say we have Joe Bornstein, whose training has been going absolutely insane. He's one of my favorite lifters to watch. Hey Jamar, I'm excited to see you back on the platform. I just can't wait to watch you squat. Angelo Fortino is competing. I hear if he goes 9 to 9, he's going to be giving out some free samples of his nut butter, which is a real thing I learned about like a day ago. He apparently makes pasta and peanut butter, so hit him up. His training looks to be going well. He goes by John Song, so obviously they're working together. His deadlift looks really, really good. He's a deadlift specialist. He hit 357 kilos 2 years ago at Mega Nationals, I believe in Vegas, and then he hit 348 for a national record at Paralympic American Nationals earlier this year. I think just missing out on 357.5, and he hit 330 in the gym. So if all goes well, I see him peaking and wouldn't be surprised if he not only chips 348, but also going up to maybe like 358 or 360, because I think that he just has a little bit more like kind of time under his belt to hit these like deadlift PRs based on what I've seen on his Instagram. Morgan Aquino Garcia put up an insane performance at Paralympic American Nationals, hitting 672.5. He has hit 715, which is 0.5 under the national record, but it was in the 67.5 class 2 years ago, again from another federation. If he comes in, has a great day, makes weight at 66, he honestly could sneak into the top 3. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a little biased, but my teammate Dom's training has been going super well. He's in the 93s. I have him possibly getting top 3 too. So I haven't even mentioned like there's so many names. I don't want to like gloss over these guys, but like Delaney Wallace, he's amazing. He hasn't posted his training, but I'm assuming he's going to do well. So he placed amazingly at Sheffield. He had a great time, was an underdog, and still had an amazing performance. So I have Delaney going first, then Dom, and then probably Joe Bornstein. So that's my top 3, with maybe Devin Williams kind of creeping up as well into the ranks. It's going to come down to those last deadlifts. So like, it's crazy to pick like those my top 3, and then you have to like think about, oh, well, there's Chris Perez, there's still Jamar, and then there's Dan Clements. Like, it's really hard to like go through this list and pick a top 3 because everyone's so talented. So with that being said, if I had to, those are my top 3. I absolutely love the level that SBD is continuously like elevating the sport to, and having these meets in Paralympic America is super, super exciting, and I can't wait to be a part of hopefully more and more. So with that being said, if you're not going to be there next weekend in Durham, LiveStream link is down in the description box. Let me know in the comments down below who your top 3 picks are for the open and primetime session, and I'll see you guys in a couple weeks for another video. Bye!